Cool. So what we thought we'd do here, guys, is a bit of a different video today for everyone, and I'm with Meg. Is it Megan? Megan Laney?
Well, I'm Megan, but Meg's fine. Everyone calls me Meg.
And you're up in Jim's Dog Wash. Is it Woden up in ACT?
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
Great. You've been around since April 2018, and I just checked on FMS4 before, and you had 332 ratings at 4.9 stars, which is quite incredible.
Well, I think I've got 501 five-star ratings now.
Right. Okay.
Yeah, maybe they haven't updated that.
Yeah. But so that's incredible. Like, as a number, that's for someone who's been since 2018, that's an incredible number. That's probably the highest I've heard regarding the star rating system.
Well, that's good. I actually often wonder if anyone else has that many 5-star ratings, because it's hard to judge. Obviously, I have no idea.
Yeah. Well, a lot of franchisees. Yeah, well, a lot of franchisees will turn off the lead, so it's sometimes a bit hard for those guys who might have been around for 20 years, who are great operators, but they just can't build up those ratings because they're not doing the lead side of the call center. So it all depends.
Yeah.
But it's a ridiculous number. It's crazy how good that is.
Oh, that's good. That's a positive thing.
Yes. Okay, so let's now talk about this incident. So last week, Sharon Connell alerted us to this incident that happened whilst you're on a job at a customer's property. So maybe do you want to talk a bit about that and what happened?
Yeah, sure. So I was happily grooming a dog at a regular customer's house, and I was obviously in the trailer. I was parked legally, which a lot of people have asked me, was I parked legally? Because that might have made a difference. A straight stretch of road, crystal clear morning, and the next thing I knew, I was out on the road, lying on the road. So what happened was a man was coming down the street. He lives in the street, and he clipped the driver's side, the right-hand side of the trailer, with such force that it forced me out of the trailer. So, of course, then the trailer's been driven into the car with the force as well. So my trailer and my car have both been affected. So I actually initially thought, it was a split-second feeling, that my gas bottle had exploded.
Oh, geez.
That's how loud it was. I've never been in a car accident before, so I have no idea of, impact and sound. So then I sort of came to after like a nanosecond and realised there was this man looking over me and there was this car smashed into the trailer. Yeah, so apparently he didn't see me. So who knows?
Yeah, so what we're going to do for everyone, I've got you actually the photo of it here. So we're going to put a photo and intertwine it in there for people to have a look at it. But it's quite a significant crash from what I'm looking at here. So you've literally been thrown out of the back of the trailer whilst doing a groom.
Yeah, so both the doors were flung open with the force of the impact, and I ended up out on the road. Fortunately, the dog was all right. That was my first concern. Is the dog okay?
Wow, not at yourself. You weren't worried. Were you okay yourself?
Yeah, I'm okay. I mean, I'm a bit bruised, a bit sore and sorry for myself, but I mean, I'm fine. I don't have any breakages. I actually think now, with hindsight, I'm extremely lucky. It could have been so much worse, because I actually have got into the habit, it's only a recent thing, where I turn off the gas after every bath because I was told I probably should. So I thought, okay, I'm going to start doing that. And if I'd been turning off the gas when he walked down drove down the street, who knows what could have happened.
Absolutely. Very, very lucky. It's very lucky, and people will see from the photos which we show, it's quite amazing. But what's even more amazing after that is you went back in there and you completed the job. That's
I did.
Most people would have said, "Well, that's it for me today. That's away I'm done."
Yeah, that's where I'm different. So it was a couple of hours afterwards, I have to say, that I finished grooming the dog. So I got the dog out of the trailer because the trailer had been taken off. It had been unhitched, if you like, with the impact. So the trailer then the dolly wheel had come out. So the trailer was on the road, so it was on an angle. So I took the dog inside to the family, and then we proceeded with calling the police and the insurance companies and all of that kind of stuff. So as soon as the guy who hit me, his trailer was towed away, and sorry, his car was towed away, and we stabilized the trailer. That's when I decided I really needed to finish the dog, because I was actually I was kind of waiting there doing nothing, because I had to get my trailer towed, and my car. So I was sort of waiting. So I thought, right, I'm going to make good use of time and finish the dog. And I would have felt quite guilty if I hadn't have, I think. Not that the owners would have been like that, but yes.
Well, going above and beyond, because we got the review as well. So I think it was the client, Nikki Mawson in ACT. Was it the client?
Oh, no. So Nikki's another client. Yep. And she was one of the clients I had to cancel on the day. So she was also booked in for Friday. And so I, on Sunday, did all the clients that I didn't do on Friday.
Right.
So she was, and so because I'd cancelled her, she knew the reason that I'd cancelled, and she obviously just felt, she felt like she needed to say something.
So what else? So after the incident, did you go and you've done all the stuff with the insurance, made the call, you finished the job, unbelievably. What did customers say after you finished the job? Did they expect you to do that, or what? What was their reaction to it?
They were very grateful. They were quite busy. They were about to go away that afternoon, so they were sort of quite preoccupied with other stuff. But they were good. They were very worried about me, actually. Like, they kept offering me cups of tea or something to eat. They were really, really lovely and hospitable. And I rang my husband, and he came along, and they were really great with him. He did a bit of work inside their house, so it was all a bit random, really. But look, they're very regular clients, so it's not like it was the first time I'd ever been there, and I didn't know them. So
and how did you manage to finish the jobs for the week? Did you get someone else's trailer, or how did that work? Did you borrow someone's? Or
so on Saturday, we have a great trailer mechanic, and we asked him to come and look at it on Saturday morning to see if he thought it was roadworthy until it was assessed. So he came. Actually, sorry, he came on Friday night to look at what he might need to do. He assessed it and said, so the structure of the trailer's fine. It just needed it needed a new tail light and indicator light on that side, and it needed the coupling, the thing that you hitch onto the car, that replaced. So we figured may as well just get that done, and then I can actually be roadworthy. So the trailer's not unsafe to use, but my guess is that it's going to be written off because there's way too much cosmetic damage to fix.
So how many jobs were you roughly doing a week at the time, or let's say fortnightly?
Oh, look, I go nuts. It's just who I am. So I would do. Well, I work 6 days a week. I always have done. I was a chef prior to doing this, and I owned my own cafe for 21 years. So I've sort of always always worked a lot. I probably do 8 dogs a day, so I'm probably doing around the 45 to 50 dogs a week.
Wow.
Yeah.
And before coming into, so when you made that change to go from being a chef to dog wash, do you have a passion for animals or passion for dogs? Or?
Oh, absolutely. I am mad about animals. Like, I wish I could win the lotto and, own some amazing property where I could just have a sanctuary for unwanted animals. Yeah, definitely into animals. Love my dogs. And I know it sounds a bit strange, but there's quite a lot of similarities between being a dog groomer and being a chef. So it sort of seemed like a bit of a natural transition to me. I had to learn a whole lot of new skills, obviously, but you're on your feet all day. It's quite physically demanding. You've got to work in a very organised fashion to get a good end result. So I don't know. It seemed. I thought about it for a couple of years, and then all of a sudden, I just decided, right, I'm going to do it.
And
So
how you finding it? You've been in there for nearly
I
for more than 2 years now, so.
I love it. I love love it. I love it so much. I didn't anticipate that I would love it this much, but I do. And yeah, it's a really wonderful experience. Yeah, and it's
What do
really
you
good.
what?
I'm in my late 40s, so it's sort of, you think, oh gosh, can I make a change that late? Um, but I did, and it was the best thing I've done for myself in a professional respect, for sure. For
What's the
sure.
best thing you like about it?
Um, Gosh, there's a lot of things. I think from a personal perspective, probably the fact that I've got flexibility, like I mean, even though I don't take a lot of time off, I can. I was in hospitality for over 25 years, and when you're in hospitality, you you don't have a lot of time off. There's not a lot of flexibility. So I can take a holiday if I want in the middle of the year, or I've got Sundays off with my, husband. So I've just got that flexibility, and I love the fact that I don't have staff or landlords anymore. That's a real bonus
Mm.
for me anyway. But I love just hanging out with dogs all day, and I'm out on the road, and I really like that, except for when I'm getting hit. And I just like the freedom of it. Yeah, I love the freedom that it gives me. I was stuck in a kitchen for 25 odd years and with no windows, and now I'm out and about. I'm chatting to people. It's just a totally different way of life.
And you'd obviously
Yeah.
get to form a really good bond with your customers because you have a lot of regular grooms and stuff. So you'd get to know each dog and customer like you know the different temperaments of the dogs. And I know, for example,
Yes.
we've had Jim's dog wash who does Jim's cavoodle Apollo. And it's a very temperamental dog. It's not an easy one to
Yes.
work with. I was quite
Yep.
impressed with the dog wash franchisee come out and just knew the behaviour of it, knew the dog's temperament, knew when to back off and all this sort of stuff. It was quite impressive to watch.
Yeah, like you do. It's good to develop a relationship with dogs, definitely. And look, some dogs are just going to dread the experience from the beginning and never get used to it. But most dogs are fantastic, like, yeah, and by the end of it, I love the way they feel really proud of themselves. That's the greatest satisfaction. They run in the house really excited, and they obviously think they look pretty good or feel pretty good.
Yeah, and the great thing about it as well, you're doing 8 jobs on average a day. You get to see that 8 times every day over and over. You get that sense of feeling and seeing the dog happy
Yeah.
with itself. And
Yeah. And look, it's good to have a lot of multiple dog households too. That cuts down your travel time, but it doesn't cut down what your revenue is for the day. So that's always handy. So yes, it's more households like that are definitely a bonus for
now,
sure.
what do you think you do differently to others? Because your star rating and your numbers of ratings is quite, as I said at the start, is very, very impressive, and it's probably right up there for someone in that time frame. What do you think you do different from a customer service point of view?
Well, I have no idea how other franchisees operate, so I can't say what I'm doing that's different. I know what I do, and obviously, look, I think I've got some really lovely customers too. I think I've got good customers, so that's number one. But I think I kind of do go out of my way for people. And I think people appreciate that. And I think I've had so many comments in my reviews where people say, like, you can tell she genuinely has affection for animals. And I think people love seeing that. And it's not put on, it's completely natural. Um, and I just really care about the dog and about the customer. And I mean, I don't get frustrated if people cancel, because to me, you can always fill a spot immediately when you've been doing it for 2 years. I think I'm a good groomer. I mean, I'm fairly certain I am, but I think I've taken to it pretty naturally. And I've got a really good attention to detail. So that's just me all over as a person. So I don't do things in halves. So I think that's probably what it is. It's good attention to detail. I'm really dedicated, and I absolutely love animals.
And when
And
they
I think
say, sorry, you go.
No, you go. Yep.
I was going to say, when you said going the extra mile, is there a couple of examples you can maybe give going the extra mile? Is there something little during the interaction you're maybe doing, or is there something extra?
Let me think. You're putting me on the spot now.
I know it's not an easy question.
I think, for instance, okay, someone rang me up yesterday, a client. I've only groomed her dog once, but I know her through people. She said to me she wanted to book her dog in every 8 weeks. I said, great. So the first time I went, which was about 10 weeks ago, she was very happy. She and said, I'll send you a message about booking Louie in again. And I never heard from her, probably because she got busy. She then contacted me and said, oh, look, can I book Louie in? And I said, well, I haven't got space for about 5 or 6 weeks. And she said, okay, I'll get the dog done at Pet Barn. Anyway, Pet Barn, and the dog was due to be groomed today. So Pet Barn rang her yesterday and cancelled the booking.
Nice.
So she messaged me and said, oh, look, is there any way at all you could squeeze Louie in? And so I said, yeah, okay, I'll come at 7 o'clock this morning. So, and now, admittedly, it was easy because I was grooming another dog in her street at 8 o'clock. So, but I guess that's what I'd do. I'd never say, oh, look, I couldn't be bothered. I mean, I wouldn't say that to the customer, obviously, but in my head, I wouldn't say, well, they've asked me to do them a favour, and I did. So that, to me, is, customer service is so important, like offering good, genuine customer service, not just going there and grooming their dog and getting paid and leaving. It's just all the other stuff. And I suppose I make an effort too, like with a lot of the older customers, they like to have a bit of a chat. So even if I'm running late, I'll stand there and I'll have a chat with them because I know it's important to them. And that's not hard work for me. That's just, to me, that's what it's all about. It's not just about me grooming a dog. It's about offering an entire experience for the customer, making sure I wind their hose up if I've used their hose, making sure if I've dropped fur outside the trailer, I pick it up. Just all of that stuff that is who I am as a person. It's not like I've gone to, customer service school. I think that's something that is just, it's within you. It's who you are. I don't think you can make all of those extra little things. People can suggest them, but I think if you're going to do it consistently, it's just got to be who you are as a person. Yeah.
That's really interesting to hear that. It's obviously reflective in the ratings and reviews you get. So it's obviously working. It's obviously working. Now, I want to touch on the grooming side of it as well. So a lot of customers in the public, they obviously know gyms sometimes just as Jim's mowing, and the gym does a lot of other things, but they don't know the expertise of all our divisions. So I just want to touch on your expertise as a groomer. Do you want to talk about the training you've done and obviously about the experience you've got, all that sort of stuff?
Okay, well, I think in grooming, obviously you need training to begin, but I think with grooming, it's just all about experience. Obviously, having the basics. I went to a grooming school here in Canberra, and I got very good training. She's an excellent groomer, but that was only for a period of about 8 weeks. So then it's all about you then going on the journey of like, yes, I know how to groom a dog, but I've just become better and quicker at it as well. So, when I first started, a dog that you might take me now an hour to groom was taking me 2 hours to groom because it was all that extra effort of just not knowing. Well, just, practice makes perfect, doesn't it, I guess? So you've got to have the basics, but you've also, I think it's just a matter of getting a lot of grooms in to become quicker and faster and so and also too, you're dealing with a live object. You know, you're dealing with an animal that's moving at times, even though they're tethered. They're still moving, and you've got to be really careful as well. So, you know, sometimes your heart's in your mouth, you know, particularly if they're a bit aggressive or very fragile or so yeah, it's just experiencing every different situation several times before you say, right. I remember there was a day about 6 to 8 months into it where I thought, I actually feel like a proper dog groomer. Like I actually feel like I went to work today and I didn't think about what I was doing as much as I had been. You know, it was more that it was coming naturally. Yeah.
Now, a comment that I see a bit online is about everyone says sometimes people say my dog's a bit aggressive or my dog's a bit jumpy or whatever. How do you handle a jumpy or let's say a bit more of a maybe aggressive dog?
Well, jumpy dogs are difficult for sure, but you just tether them, and I often put my arm under their stomach to sort of hold them, calm them down. I'll often rub a dog in between their eyes, and that makes them calm. Aggressive dogs are a bit of a different story. I groom quite a few dogs that need to be sedated.
That seems quite interesting. Yeah.
Yeah, and you've got to be really careful with them when they're sedated as well. So the client sedates them. The client gets the sedation, the tablets from the vet. So I mean, I wouldn't ever recommend. I mean, I'm not a vet. I have no idea, but some dogs are just anxious as well, so they need to be sedated so they can be groomed. And then you've got some senile dogs as well, quite seriously, that are just chaos if you try and groom them, so they need to be sedated. Aggressive dogs I haven't really had too much trouble with, I have to say. I have left a couple of jobs where I've decided it's not safe to groom the dog. And the point is, I always say to people, it's not about me getting bitten necessarily. It's about the state of your dog. I mean, like, do you want to work your dog up into such an aggressive frenzy that, you know, who knows what the dog might be feeling or thinking? And I'm always worried that a dog's going to have a heart attack if they're stressed or, you know, like you've got to be mindful. We're not always liking dogs to people, and they are. They're like people in that they all have different personalities. They all have different health problems. And then you've got the dogs that run into the trailer, like they're so happy to see you. You lift the hatch on the bath, they run in, and then they jump on the grooming table, and you don't have to ask them to do a thing. They just know the what to expect. They're great. They're the great dogs. Yeah.
I was going to say with dog washing and grooming, even though it's called dog washing and grooming, I know there's other animals you guys can do. Do you do any other animals? I've heard of guinea pigs being done, horses. I've heard of a few things.
I'd love to groom a horse one day. That's on a bucket list actually, because I think they're so beautiful. But I've groomed a couple of cats. But there's so many dogs out there that, I mean, I just think staying focused on one species for me is probably better.
That's fair enough.
Yeah. I don't know where I'd fit any other animals in my day anyway. So yeah. But I mean, I quite like grooming cats if they're calm, but they can be pretty scratchy and chaotic. So it's better just to leave them alone. Yeah.
And what's the full gamut of services that you guys provide? I've seen them online, but can you go into a bit more detail about the services that you can offer to people?
Sure. Well, I think, look, a lot of people, I'm sure all franchisees do it differently. A lot of the franchisees will sell products as well. Something I initially thought of to build up revenue, but I think now I'm so busy that I don't really, for me, I don't need that. It's just something else to think about. So I'm very heavily focused on grooming dogs, and that's what I do. And I'm also in a position now where I've got so many customers that I don't need to worry about trying to generate more income. So basically you can just do a wash on a dog, a wash and dry, which I do for some clients very regularly. Then I'll do a tidy on a dog, which is, you know, wash dry. You clip their hygiene areas, check their nails, tidy their face and their feet and their bottom. And then a full groom, which is all of that plus a full body clipping and, you know, style to the breed. And yeah, so, but you can also sell, yeah, as I said, you can sell products, you can sell worming tablets. Yeah, you can do dog walking if you like. You know, there's a whole host of things. If you're inventive enough and has got the time, then I'm sure you could come up with, you know, other things. But I did decide fairly early on in the piece for me, I wanted to be, because it was something I was going into later in life, I wanted to be a really good groomer. So I just wanted to focus on grooming. That's, yeah, be able to just be a really, really good groomer. It was important because if I'm going to do something, I want to do it really, really well. I don't want to just be an okay groomer. It's like, oh, yeah, this is okay. But in fact, obviously, you get ongoing training as a franchisee. I shouldn't say obviously for someone that is not a franchisee. But we've had groomers at the conferences. We've had groomers at workshops. So you're getting that continual training as well. And I watch a lot of, you know, watch DVDs, read a lot of books about grooming. And so you're constantly learning new techniques as well. And that's really important just to keep yourself fresh and, yeah.
I want to ask you about what you said before, the cut to breed, because we see that a bit. Can you cut this type of dog, or can you do this dog? So can you maybe go into a bit more detail about cut to breed and that you can?
Sure. So, I mean, with the purebred animals, there's, you know, different styles that for the breed standard. So, you know, poodle feet and face is a great example where you shave back the feet and the face of a standard poodle or even a miniature or toy if they want it. And you've got a bit of a pom-pom head and a pom-pom tail, and like a lot of work goes into it. And you give them cuffs at the bottom of their legs, you know, just above their paws. And so, yeah, you know, things like knowing how to groom a double-coated dog, like all the Japanese Spits, the Samoyeds, the dogs with profuse coats. And, you know, obviously all the, you know, larger dogs, they all have that sort of de-shedding process. But then when you get into clipping, the clipping requires sometimes more skill than other dogs. So just oh, look, you know, to give you an example, a little Yorkshire Terrier, tiny little dog, but has sort of a very full face, full fur, and often a customer will like the fur on their head left long enough that they can put it in a pigtail, you know, because that's kind of the style of the breed. Or with a Bichon Frise, you know, making them very white, very fluffy. Yeah, and, you know, never cutting their ears or their tails. That's like a part of the breed standard. You don't touch their ears or tails. You just let them grow. You know, Cocker Spaniels, Cavaliers, a lot of the what I call oodles, they all have the same style of cut, like, you know, what a lot of people call a teddy bear cut, where you've got sort of like a, you know, nice teddy bear face and their body's clipped all the same length all the way over. But, you know, I mean, there's so many dog breeds. And the longer you do it, the more experience you'll get. You might actually you might have a really unusual breed of dog, and then you might pick up another one. So you're just getting more practice. And there's a couple of really good books that you can purchase on the styles of dogs, like the breed cuts, the breed styles. So just look, a lot of people just want their dogs clipped really short. They don't necessarily mind what the dog looks like, you know, like in terms of they don't want their dog to have a nice full coat. But then I've got a customer and she's got 2 toy poodles, and I go there every week and groom them for her because she wants them looking fantastic all the time. So, you know, it's largely dependent on the customer as well.
Yeah, I was going to ask you that. What's your process like with that? So when you meet a new customer and a new dog for the first time, is it something where you recommend stuff, or they tell you what they want and you decide on it?
Yeah,
Or
look, one thing I have found is giving guidelines is really important because people do want guidelines. But then I have started saying to people that it's ultimately up to how much money you want to spend. And that's true. So if people say, how often should I be getting Louis groomed? Well, honestly, my answer is it's how much money you want to spend. It's how much. If you want your dog clean every week, I'll come clean your dog every week, and if you want to spend that money, fine. I mean, I have heaps of fortnightly customers, and they're just prepared to spend the money on their dog, whereas other people don't have the money. So they might get me to come once every 8 weeks and I'll wash and do a full clip of the dog, and the dog will be great for the next 8 weeks until I come again, and they're satisfied with that. But then there's always going to be a variety of clients and what their needs are. But yeah, I definitely offer guidelines and say, well, look, for this breed of dog and what you want to maintain the coat's condition, you need me to come X amount of weeks. And they'll either listen to me or they won't. And then, of course, I've got other clients, like I said, that want me to come all the time. So I think a key factor is not being too pushy with people. Just letting the customer think that it's their decision, that they've made the decision, even if you've sort of subtly said, look, this is what I think. Let them make up their mind themselves. Because I don't like being told by people that I'm spending money with what I should and shouldn't do. I think it's up to the customer to do that. But I guess you just want to make them want you to come back. I guess that's a bit of a key thing.
Well, they obviously do from the ratings, so it speaks for itself. I was going to say now, what's your favourite type of dog breed? So you said you got a couple of dogs yourself. What type of dogs do you have?
They're up here at the moment, actually. So I love double-coated dogs myself. Like I've got 2 Japanese Spits. Okay. Here you go. My husband's going to. This is one of them.
Yeah, that's great.
Yeah. Oh, look, I love big dogs, really big dogs. I just look into their dogs' faces sometimes and think, wow, you're the most beautiful thing on the entire earth. There's my little girl. This is Neve. Look, I love German Shepherds. I'd love a German Shepherd. But in terms of grooming dogs, it's a little bit dependent on the personality. But I love doing, the standard poodle. Like they are such show-offs, and you can't make a mistake on a standard poodle because it'd just show up because of what their coat's like. And it's just they're very proud of the way they look, like super proud. And they're generally on the whole very good at being groomed. And there's a great sense of satisfaction in taking a dog back inside and knowing it looks brilliant. And so, I mean, I love all dogs. I really genuinely do. But in terms of skill and taking pride in your work, I think a standard poodle is a really good example of that. A dog that needs to look 100%. But then I love grooming all the dogs with the profuse coats, like the double-coated dogs, because they don't need clipping like my dogs, but they look magic when they've been groomed. Like their coats are just incredible, like really incredible. So yeah, and it kind of depends on the mood of the day as well. And if you've got a big dog, like yesterday I groomed a Bernese mountain dog who weighs nearly 60 kilograms. It's got to be sunny, you can't have it raining. You can't, because they take forever to dry. So, like you want a sunny, crisp day to groom one of those. So if I've got a day like that, then I think, yeah, you're the best dog in the world to groom. You're just fantastic. Yeah. And it's how much dogs interact with you as well. Like some dogs won't look at you through the whole groom. They just don't want to know you. And then other dogs just, they'll give you a big slurp or a kiss, or they're so interactive and they're just happy to be there and love life. And yeah,
that's fantastic.
So yeah, it is really good. Yeah.
No, it's great. It comes across in your voice. You can just tell you love what you do, and you've got a massive passion for it, which is the main thing. You know, you got to like what you do, and you're doing it every day, and it just definitely comes across. And obviously the reviews as well. Clearly, your customers can see that, and that's obviously it's great to hear. It's great to hear. It's great to It's great to hear you're okay as well. You know, when I was pretty shocked when I saw the photo, I couldn't believe it, and throwing out the trailer, and I'm glad you're all right to end as well. And obviously the dog you're working on at the time. It's quite a remarkable story.
Yes, yeah, I'm glad it's over, and I'm glad, and I hope I'll never experience that again.
Oh, it's horrendous. It's horrendous. Oh no, it's a first time, and that's why Sharon put you forward to get you on to discuss this and go into your customer service as well, because it just shows your commitment, getting back in there a couple of hours later and finishing the job, which was I don't know how many other people would have done that.
It wouldn't have even occurred to me not to do that. I mean, obviously, if I'd broken a limb or something, I couldn't do it, right? But I could do it. And I think that's the thing with me. I'll always do the later booking at night or the early morning one. And I get in the trailer and I'm with the dog, and I think to myself, you know, I've got a heater if it's winter. This dog's really sweet. The customers are lovely. So there's no reason why I couldn't do it, really. You know, like, but mind you, I have a very, very, very supportive husband, like insanely supportive, and I don't have any children. So I've got a lot of flexibility. So I think that needs to be taken into consideration as well. I've got flexibility to do what I do. Yeah.
That's fantastic. So what we'll do is I've taken up enough of your time. Thanks for really doing this.
Good-o. Well, nice chatting to you. Thanks so much.
Nice to meet you as well. We'll give you a shout out. No, you're right. We'll give you a shout on the Ask Jim show as well. So I'm going to show that photo on Wednesday night. So we'll talk about you in the first 5 minutes if you want to check it out.
Oh, I should. Yeah. Okay. To jump on board that.
No worries. Okay. Thank you very much for doing this. Thank you for your time.
It's a pleasure. Bye.